Okay, you can introduce yourself. And,
Howdy, I'm Harold Finkelman, Chaim ben Shmuel Halevi.
A Jewish
Consultant.
consultant. Okay. So about that you were talking about.
Well, right. In Jewish tradition, a woman can demand sex from her husband, but a husband cannot demand sex from his wife. And if a woman demands sex, which she can up to 3 times a day, and he does not try to fulfill her, she can actually sue him for silver. In 1980, there was a very famous case that actually made the Asian Wall Street Journal. And what it was a woman who had been separated from her husband but not divorced, saw that he was living with a woman, another woman, she was living with a guy, and she said, "You can't have sex with her, you have to have sex with me. Every day, I want you to come to the house and have sex with me only." And he refused to. 3 months later, she went to court and she sued him in Israel and she won 1,000 ounces of silver. This is 3 ounces a day or 3 ounces, whatever it was of silver. But it was 1,000 ounces he won. And it made the Asian Wall Street Journal because that was the year the Hunt brothers played the big silver scam. And she went back to the court and saying, "Oh, you're giving me the silver, but now silver's only worth $25 an ounce. When this was happening, it was worth $40 an ounce." And the court said, "No, in Jewish tradition, if you're a Jew living in Israel, if you live in Israel, you follow international law. But if you're a Jew living in Israel, you have to follow international law or Jewish law, whichever is most severe." So we've given him the severity. He pays 1,000 ounces of silver, but all you get is the silver, not the $40.
Yeah, and about that the woman can divorce the man.
A woman can can divorce her husband automatically, but a man
Cannot, right?
cannot. Man has to get agreement from the woman to be able to have a divorce.
Poor guys.
It says, well, this was the reason this happened was that the culture evolved a long time ago, long before the Roman Silk Route. The highest technology cities in the world were run by women. One was in West Africa. That's why in Calgary we had the Nigerian bronzes. Nigeria, where all the early smelting and metal work was done, was completely matriarchal. It was run by women. The women had multiple husbands. Now they traveled to West Cathay. In West Cathay, in Eastern Cathay, I should say, around Nanjing, where literally before the Qin dynasty, when it was run by other leaders and other emperors, smaller emperors, it was always the Dowager Empress that was boss. Okay, she was boss, either boss of her son or her grandson or her nephew or great-nephew. From the ancient times, right up to 1913, when everybody went in and tried to take over China, and the emperor was 8 years old, the Dowager Empress could have the run of the city. She could go anywhere she wanted. But what happened was, and the women could go anywhere they wanted in the city, just like in the synagogue, but all the men in the imperial city, except for the emperor, were eunuchs, no testicles. This was estrogen central. So, and they were doing mechanics 5,000 years ago, mechanical stuff. They were doing enameling, but they needed the metallurgy from West Africa. So here was 2 matriarchal cultures. The travel between them, they'd have to travel through Judea, and the Jews learned about everybody's math, everybody's science, everybody's psychology. They weren't a very big tribe, it was very small to gather knowledge, but they gathered the traditions that made up the culture were learned from these 2 ancient matriarchal cultures. Interesting.
Thank you very much.